Now, the government has announced new plans to tackle what it calls rogue landlords in England. The government is looking to introduce a licensing scheme for certain landlords renting a property to multiple individuals. Separately, the Labour leader, Jeremy Corbyn, has said his party wants tenants to have more powers to avoid eviction. Well, joining me now is our reporter, Sebastian Chrispin. So, Sebastian, tell us more about what's being proposed.
Well, that's right. So there's been quite a lot in the media about so-called rogue landlords, landlords that don't treat their tenants properly. There's been a big emphasis on overcrowding, so landlords that force tenants to live in properties that aren't big enough. So what the government has set out today is a range of measures trying to tackle overcrowding and drive up standards in the private rented sector in England. In particular, what it's doing is it wants to change the licensing rule for landlords in England, so that now anyone that wants to rent a property to 5 or more people who aren't all from the same family will have to register, and that on their licence it will specify how many people are allowed to live in any one room.
So how big a problem is this, and how many landlords are likely to be affected?
Well, to give you a scale of the size of the sector, there's about 4.3 million households in England that fall under the privately rented sector, and about 500,000 of those are so-called houses in multiple occupations, so that's properties that are let to 3 or more people who aren't all from the same family. But what the government says is that in the proposals announced today, is going to affect about 160,000 houses. And to give you an idea of how serious the government is taking it, so-called rogue landlords could face a fine of up to £30,000 if they break the rules.
Now, those are the government's proposals. The Labour Party has also been discussing housing. What are they saying? Well,
that's right. So this is a separate story, but it shows that both the governing Conservative Party and the opposition Labour Party want to address the issue of housing. In an interview with the Independent newspaper, the Labour leader, Jeremy Corbyn, said that he wants to abolish what he calls so-called no-fault evictions. So these are people that are forced to leave a tenancy through no fault of their own. And he uses quite colourful language here, which I think gives a sense of the direction the Labour leader would like to take policy. He says that we're really facing a moral litmus test, and he really wants to address the issue of homelessness. And the emphasis he's trying to put on is he wants to try and emphasise longer-term tenancies to end this uncertainty facing people who have to rent properties, and move to what he calls a more regulated private rented sector.
OK, Sebastian, many thanks.